Fight family, check out this 10-minute round with Nicky Rod where we just did mounted positions. All right, and I had mentioned this before, but it was extremely depressing considering he almost always got out in a matter of seconds, and he submitted me every single time when it was his turn. So again, not that great for the ego, but when I got back to my gym, I leveled up significantly. I was able to feel what he was doing to me and apply it to my offense, and defensively, I realized what I didn't want to happen and was able to defend against it better. But I look at this waist grip he's got around my waist. He pulls my arm out from underneath me. I realize I got to clear that grip immediately. But he's got great shoulder pressure, which is one major thing that I took, is pretty much everywhere we were, he was crushing me with one of his shoulders. So keep that in mind, guys. A lot of times when he was on the mount, he was like just crushing my jaw, and I wanted to tap to jaw pressure alone. But here in this position, he's on top of both of my legs here, so I got to figure out how to scoop one to recover a guard. I tried to roll him over, but he's so big, so strong. He's able to post on his head and take the back with it. And notice how he posted on his foot to push me to the far side. Money. That one, he just throws me off like a child. But, you know, look how he gets that deep crossface on me, and he's just turning my neck with it. Like, it's really hard for me to continue to rotate when he's pushing on my face like that. And again, massive shoulder pressure. And he was constantly attacking side chokes. I happen to fancy myself decent at defending side chokes, so lucky for me. But it's such a hard position to escape, and almost always you have to give the back to defend the side choke. Head and arm choke, whatever you want to call it. So he's attacking the head and arm choke here. And you know, when you're in this position, first you want to get him off a mount, but you also can't let him really commit to the half guard either, because you need to create separation. So I have to like get his hook out from half guard and make sure that I keep as much distance away from him. But again, I have to kind of expose my back here, and he's really great at tying me up with Kimuras. I try to rotate into him. Man, my shoulder still hurts from this. So what I wanted to do there was grab his hand, but I didn't, and notice how fast it was for the transition. So look, I try to go to 3/4 here, trying to get a 2-on-1 grip. Again, he goes back to the head and arm. I'm really bad about giving people that position. You know, even though I defend it really well, it's a really hard position to recover from. And notice how I weaved his leg on the inside so that he could get the full mount. So I had one leg in between my legs so I could hold 3/4 guard. And he essentially pummeled his other leg to the inside and forced himself to back to full mount. And again, he threatens the side choke here, head and arm choke. And I'm making all kinds of noises here trying to survive. So again, that's like the number one grip that I use to survive the head and arm choke, is I want to get one of my arms underneath my leg, make this S grip, and use it to extend my shoulder away from my neck. That helps me out a lot. But again, the unfortunate problem is you show your back. So again, it's not a good position to put yourself in, but if they do get it, there is a defense. A very solid one that you shouldn't be getting tapped from it. And notice how he just clears my grips like nothing. He just runs his hand right across and peels both my grips. I was hoping I could continue to rotate a little bit and ease up the pressure, but he's next level strong. And again, I last all of 3 seconds when it's my turn to get on top, so I'm back on bottom. And one thing that I was not aware of when I first did this drill, because I came to the morning class and drilled it with the guys, and if they put me off a mount, it was like the round was over. But then when it was my turn to go Nicky Rod at the night class, he would just go north, south, or side control and just kept going. So it was like, every time I was like, damn. And thinking about it, if I could go back, I would essentially dismount every single time as soon as we started, because mounts pretty difficult to hold on a bigger guy, regardless of the skill level. Mounts usually pretty difficult if they're larger than you. So I would have been a lot better off dismounting to side control or north-south like he was doing to me a bunch. So he goes for the Darce choke, so I continue to go back on my back here. Usually a good defense to the Darce choke is to flatten yourself back out. What they want you to do is like rotate so they can get a better angle and really like dig their form in your neck. But if you rotate like flat again, it becomes hard to finish you. So that's something you can bear in mind. I'll try to get a single leg, but he has his arm around my waist, which made it really hard to come up on that. And I don't know why I rotated back down to my back here. I probably should have like tried to arm pummel or something. And again, when you train with this level, you realize just how important strength and conditioning is. You can do all the technique you want, but if they're outworking you in the gym as well, you're not going to be able to have time or the strength to really let your technique show. Like, something I realized at the ADCC trials was that guys can be so strong that you don't even get a chance to utilize your technique. And he hits me with this side choke here because this time I did grab his wrist on that Kimura so he couldn't finish it. So this time he switched to a side choke, which is just monstrous. And look how he reaches inside my grip to pull his elbow so that it gets super tight. And he knows he has it and just waits. And that's a brutal choke. And a lot of people struggle with it, so B-Team's got something figured out because it seems all their guys are doing it really well. And here is the first time I did anything. Like, I happened to get like this cross side, back take, almost like a leg ride, right? And I got this from watching Craig Jones on Instagram. So it's probably like my best, move that I have to retain the back. And at least I gave him trouble for all about like 20 seconds. So he rotates to the other side, which sucked. But again, look at that crossface. Something that I noticed is all throughout this, he was just like turning my neck with the crossfaces, right? Not only was he like, usually the crossface is used to like turns people's chin, but he was actually like hitting like the top of my skull so that my whole head was like this. And yeah, it's hard to really push someone off or create any types of frames when they're bending your neck like that. And if you noticed here, like, we've seen with Gordon Ryan and just a lot of guys at that high levels, they're really making that high mount, work for them. Again, he gets me for the head and arm choke, and he's really trying to finish me here, but I'm doing my best to just like survive, like full survival mode here. But again, I expose my back. So, maybe the escape isn't the best escape, or I gotta chain it with the next thing, I gotta like extend and then I gotta go back to like getting my arm flat to the mat. And here I'm saved by the bell. But yeah, I hope you guys were able to pick up some mount details from here that you can utilize in your own game. And I'm excited to go back to B-Team. I appreciate you guys.